Hello, welcome to Blackjacks. It was pointed out to me the other day that most of the wiring stuff I've done concerns itself with wiring stuff from scratch, which is true because I do prefer to do it that way. However, there are times when you might be just lightly modifying a bike, which is something that happens occasionally, and you want to use the original wiring loom. Now, that's a bit confusing because the first thing you're going to do is you're going to pick up the manual and you're going to flick through to the back where the wiring diagrams already are, and you're going to look at it and you're going to, oh right, that's not my model. Okay, that's my model. You found the right model. Please do that because that is important. Don't just assume the first one you come to is what you want. And apparently all the black wires are connected to everything because it's all printed in black and white. Then you notice that down the corner there's a colour key. And you go, oh, colour key, let me get my glasses and I can read that. In tiny little writing. And it says B for blue, BK for black, BR for brown, G for green, GR for grey, and so on. That's quite interesting because another time you'll look at one and the BL will stand for black, the B will be blue, or it could be BL for blue and B for black. The GR sometimes is green, sometimes it's grey, and the grey is the opposite of whatever the green is. And all in all, it's a bit bloody confusing. So no wonder people get in a mess with it. So I would like to suggest something to make your life a bit simpler, and that is create a table of what colour does what, because you'll find there is a definite pattern to this. For instance, if you own a British motorcycle with Lucas Electrics, it will probably conform to BS AU7, I think is the code, and the blue wire will be the power from the fuses to the dip switch. The blue and white wire will be the wire from the dip switch to the main beam. The blue and red wire will be the wire from the dip switch to the dip beam. The red is the rear light. The blue and purple, no, not blue and purple, green and purple. Wiring is difficult if you're colourblind. Bear that in mind. I feel sorry for these people. Scott from Cold War Motors. Green and purple is your brake light feed. Green and white is the right hand. Green and white is on the right hand indicator. Green and red, left hand one. And that's just off the top of my head. And I might have got some of them wrong, but you can see that if I'm looking at a British wiring diagram, I'm not going to be very confused about what colour does what, because I sort of know it from experience. On the other hand, if you look at a German one, which you would expect to be brilliantly organised, unfortunately, they just organise the terminals, they don't organise the wire colours. So 50 something is to do with lights, 40 something is to do with the indicators, like say 49 will be indicator relay. And the colour of the wire will change, but if you find the terminal code at one end and the terminal code at the other end, the wire shouldn't change colour in between. Fingers crossed. So that's vaguely helpful. So in the instance of a BMW, I would be using the DIN terminal code table because I've got no idea what the colours are. And I will tell you this, having from personal experience, if you get a 1977 BMW and you put 1981 switch gears on it, the colour codes are all over the place, and they're only 4 years apart. So that brings us to Japanese bikes, where of course the Japanese, being brilliantly organised, will also have a standard. And no, they won't. Basically what they have is a manufacturer's standard. Honda uses a set of colour codes, Suzuki uses a set of colour codes, Yamaha uses a set of colour codes, Kawasaki uses a set of colour codes, and they're all different. So if I get, for instance, he said, checking his notes, Kawasaki, neutral light switch, so from the bulb to the switch is a light green. Honda, neutral light switch from the bulb to the switch, light green, red tracer. On the Honda, the light green wire without the red tracer is the feed from the switch to the horn. On a Kawasaki, the horn is the horn wire from the switch to the horn is either black or black with a white tracer. If it's a Yamaha, I think it's a Yamaha, if it's a black wire, it's a ground. But if it's a Suzuki, I've forgotten, I think Suzuki actually use black and white. If it's a Kawasaki, the ground wire is black with a yellow tracer, and if it's a Honda, the ground wire is a green wire. So they all differ, so it's tricky to do. So what you do, or what I suggest you do to make your life easier when you're building a Japanese cafe racer, is flip to the page with your wire diagram on it, right? Go inside, clipboard, cup of coffee, nice calm, sit down and have a think about it. So have a look. Now the first thing you can identify, it tells me nothing here, just the colour of the wires. But if I'm looking around, I can see that the temperature lamp gauge has a green wire on it, the tack lamp has a green wire on it, the right hand turn indicator has a green wire on it, the headlight has a green wire on it, the parking lamp has a green wire on it. So the chances are that the green wire is in fact the ground, because everything seems to have a green wire. Almost everything anyway, or things you would expect to have a green wire have a green wire. Sometimes you'll see, there you go. You see that there by my finger? It says frame earth, right? Doesn't tell you what colour it is, but if you trace it back, let me have a look here. Right, so where were we? Frame earth, I've lost it now. It's hard to find. Well, there's one there, but that's a little one on it. So there you go, frame earth. Trace it back. Dot there means it's joined to everything. Blah, blah, blah. Comes over here, it's green. So we know the greens is ground on Hondas. So I make a table and I write ground. Next to it I write green. So then the next thing I want to do, for instance, would be say the headlight. So I look at it and I see it's got 2 blue wires, 2 green wires, and a white wire coming off of it. I don't know why it's got 2 green wires. Doesn't really matter. We know they go to earth. The blue wire connects to another connector here, and if I follow that up, that comes to the high beam indicator, which has got blue going in and green coming out. So that would be a fairly good indication that blue is in fact the main beam, or the high beam, or the bright. So if I look down at the switch, I can see that the blue wire comes off the high. So I'm going to write that into my chart now. Blue is high beam. Looking next to the one next to it, the low switch terminal, there's a white wire coming off, it goes straight to the low beam. White is low beam. And I just go through everything and do that. So I want to know the indicator wires. Look at that. So they both got green magic. There's orange for the left hand one. So left hand indicators are orange on Hondas. The right hand ones are light blue Hondas. You can just go through it doing that. You know, you make a table, and eventually you have a table. As per usual, all the props are really well prepared. Not unlike this, except for this is Kawasaki one. And you'll sit there and you think, what does that wire do? Just look the colour up, or look at what it does. I mean, you can make 2 if you like. You can, I don't know if you know this, but you can alphabetise lists in Word. So you make a list and you can alphabetise the components, and then you can make another list and alphabetise the colours. So if you've got 2 lists, one tells you what the colours is, one tells you what the components is, and they're in alphabetical order, it's really a lot easier than looking at a wiring diagram. Especially if you're working with an existing loom. And by the same token, if you're building a loom from scratch, I'd pick out what colours I was going to use for what beforehand, and I would write a table for that, just to remind myself. Anyway, that's my hot tip for wiring modified motorcycles. If you want to look good while you're doing it, down there should be a shop where we've got some new merch. This is a new t-shirt. You can't get these at the moment. I just have that one for me. We either design with custom parts and accessories, which are the old shop shirts, or there was the new ones which you can get in black with white or grey with black, say, because they're colour coded for easy wiring. Say Blackjack's framing innocent motorcycles since 1995, which is about when I started making complete frames, as opposed to modifying frames, because I don't want to even think about when I started modifying frames. Yeah, shop, buy them, show some support for the channel. If you don't want to splash out on a t-shirt, then subscribe, like, and comments are always good because it shows YouTube that people are watching your videos. So now that I've rambled on and you've all buggered off, take care of yourselves. I'll see you in the next one with some more useful information.